guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a full face using the best drugstore makeup to me. So I say that because not everybody has the same taste, and I know some people have different skin types and stuff, so these are all products that I find work for me the best, and I just love the formula, the finish, the look, and just the shades and everything like that. I like to know what my best drugstore makeup products are, and seeing them being applied onto my face, then be sure to give the video a thumbs up and just keep watching. I'm going to start off with a face primer. So the best face primer from the drugstore for me is the NYX Born to Glow Illuminating Primer. This, for me, I just prefer, you know, I prefer a glow, don't I? So one of the best primers for me to use. And once you kind of rubbed it into the skin, you can like feel like a slight tack to it, so that's how I feel like it's got the priming qualities to it as well. If you are someone with super oily skin, then this obviously isn't going to be the right primer from you, but from being someone that watches YouTube, I don't like matte primers or anything, and I don't find that I need a mattifying primer, but I've heard people talk about pretty good ones from the drugstore, and which ones come to mind? The Rimmel mattifying one, apparently that's a good one. I know Laura Lee has talked about that before, so that's apparently a good primer. And also one that I'm gonna include, and also the primer from my one of my recent videos when I did the drugstore starter kit, the Soap and Glory Speed Plump Moisturiser. That is like a really good primer as well. It's like a 2-in-1, that's why I chose it for that video. But that's also a really good primer as well, and that's from the drugstore, so that too is a very good primer. You might be wondering why I just went straight onto primer and I didn't really go through brows or anything, but it's because I don't actually have any drugstore brow products right now. I really need to go out and buy my NYX brow pencil, and that's the one that I would have used. Obviously at the minute I've just been trying to use up what brow products I have instead of just buying so many and then not being able to use them. So the NYX micro brow pencil, obviously in black, is the one I would use. I am going to go get that this week hopefully, because I do really need it, but obviously today for the video I didn't use the NYX one, but that would be the one that I would suggest. I just find it really easy to use and it's a really good one. Moving on to foundation, for me the best foundation at the drugstore is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. I've talked about this so many times. It's been in my top 5 foundation videos, it's been in favourites videos, it's just everywhere, this foundation. I know I'm not the only one that loves it, lots of people do, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I'm also not going to talk about this foundation too much because I did include it as one of the best foundations for like a drugstore starter kit. So if you haven't watched that video, then I think I did it, it's either my last or one of my previous videos in the last week, so it's in there if you want to know more about the foundation. For concealer, again, I know quite a lot of these stuff have been repeated kind of like from the starter kit video, but these are literally just the best concealers to me. So I've chosen the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define concealers. I have 2 shades, I've got C10 and 12. I use 12 when I don't really want to highlight, so I'm probably going to use that now. That is quite dark because this cancels out my dark circles really well, but then I'm just going to mix in a tiny bit of 10 as well. blush at the drugstore that I think is the Collection Gorgeous Glow Blush Block. They have a highlighting one and this blush one is just as good. I really, really like it. It's got a sheen to it, so I usually just dip my brush in all of it and then I just make sure I've tapped off the excess and it leaves a nice subtle glow to the skin. It kind of looks like you've got a small amount of highlight on. So it's really good for every day, and if you're someone that doesn't like wearing highlighter but you still want like a subtle glow, then this will leave that in the area that you apply it. And for highlighter, obviously the best one at the drugstore for me is the Master Chrome by Maybelline. This one is the Molten Gold shade. You can start off very, very lightly with it and it will just look like a really nice everyday natural glow on your skin, or you can just really pack it on. It won't look cakey, it won't look powdery, it doesn't emphasize texture to me. On the skin it just looks wet and you can really build it up to a really intense glow. To set all the skin in place, I'm going to take the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set. You can get e.l.f. from selected super drugstores, I'm pretty sure, so this you can actually get from the drugstore. Another good affordable one is the Milani one. Then moving on to eyeshadow, I picked out two palettes, but they are both from the same brand, so I'm sorry, but Revolution just kind of do it for me when it comes to eyeshadow palettes that you can get from the drugstore. On this category, I didn't do affordable ones because obviously I'd pick out Colourpop or Makeup Geek or ones that aren't as accessible, especially in the UK, so I went for Revolution's Reloaded Neutrals 2 palette, which again I've talked before, and I've recently done a declutter on all my eyeshadow palettes, so this obviously stayed. I love this palette, it's really good. And then we have the Extra Spice eyeshadow palette by Soph and Revolution, and this is her second palette that she's come out with, and to be fair I think either is fine. I'm going to use this one in today's tutorial because I did talk about this palette in the starter kit video, so just for the sake of that I'm going to just quickly use this palette. It's just got a really, really soft and easy formula to use. It blends really nicely and I feel like you've got a good selection for someone who likes warm tones. Obviously, if you're a cool tone person, then this obviously isn't going to be the right palette for you, but me personally, I love warm tones and I love pinks, oranges, browns, everything that's in this palette. Really, really good one for the drugstore. I think I'm just going to speed through this really quick because I'm not going to do anything. For me is the L'Oreal Paradise mascara, I think that's the name of it, but I've run out of that. It's in my empties bag, but I'm sure everyone's seen it before, so I'm just going to use my Kiko Extra Sculpt mascara. It's not that expensive to be fair. It's not far from the price of the L'Oreal one, and this is also a very, very good affordable mascara, so I'm just going to use this instead because like I said, I don't have the L'Oreal one. So thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!